So, just so people understand, tech is in with the revolutionaries, which is what Turning Point was creating. So, back in 2012, when Charlie Kirk was merely 18, okay, is when Turning Point started being created. Many in the Tea Party supported it. You know, you got to be careful with the Tea Party. You know, Glenn Beck's in the Tea Party. Was everybody never Trumpers? No, but here's the thing. In 2011, Donald Trump had ran an exploratory to see if he was going to run in 2012 because he was considering to run for president in 2012. Interesting that the timing of this, get the 18-year-old Charlie Kirk, because see, the thing is people like Glenn Beck was a never Trumper. I'd say all of the never Trumpers are still never Trumpers. The reason being that they would have way back then been worried about Donald Trump is because they knew it would be somebody they couldn't control. Glenn Beck said Hillary should win rather than Trump, because he said a bunch of nasty stuff. Yeah, and so all this stuff about him being on board with Trump, yeah, that he had to change his tune, but he didn't even. In the first election, he voted for an independent because he morally and ethically couldn't find it in himself to vote for Trump. Yeah, and he said maybe Hillary Clinton should win because it's such a moral, ethical choice. And oh, well, let me tell you exactly. He said, describing opposing Trump as a moral, ethical choice and expressing that if opposing Trump meant a Hillary Clinton presidency, so be it. See, people like Glenn Beck don't really care. They play like they're on the right, but they don't really care. They're going to benefit either way. Even though they're always going to go after the presidency, they're there to, to mind the herd. That's what they're there for. So Trump would be somebody that everybody, we won't be able to control him. So way back then, they knew that Trump was going to run in 2016. So then, Turning Point gets created, and there were some never Trumpers that funded it, and that was before the election. But Charlie Kirk he got a hold of all the high schools first. So see, when you're doing that, you're wanting to create a ton of young people and try to radicalize them. I understand that he was promoting the Bible and stuff, but again, these revolutionaries, they're very good at working in the things that they want you to get upset about. So what's really telling about it is that, yes, Charlie Kirk helped Trump get in. But after Trump got in, then it's this, well, kids, the younger generation doesn't have, which is who he represented, they don't have a chance to buy a house. There's no economic opportunities. Who parroted that? Tucker, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Bannon. They're all behind that bullshit. So, and they do that on purpose. That's what those color revolutions are for, because they start, sliding in these grievances, okay? So he wasn't, this idea that he was promoting the Bible, stop it. He was doing a color revolution, and the very people that were behind the color revolution that he was doing are now wanting to turn him into a saint. See, with the amount of people that Charlie Kirk had between the high schools and the universities, that's a damn army. I mean, it's more than an army. So then Trump, he can't just ignore it. So he would sacrifice the moderate part of his base. He'd have to. It's sad that we have people like that. It is. It really is. But, they're low lifes. All Bannon, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these people that did this. Because it's all about them and them just wanting to control administrations, and they can call it grassroots all they want. This was Charlie Kirk going in, getting a hold of these kids because he's young. And again, he came in with Candace, so she was helping along. And then, so they start, he helped get Trump in. Yeah, but he knew that they all knew that Trump was going to get elected. Trump never needed any of them. He didn't. So of course he would back him. Okay, and he, it always has claimed that he's a Republican. Okay, but again, when you have the Glenn Becks and these people that are just the color revolution themselves, then now Glenn Beck would bring it on the heels that Charlie Kirk. No, we wanted to get the lunatic left away from the campuses and the high schools. Okay, fine, but they showed their true colors when even after Trump was elected, they started pushing these grievances. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing going after the baby boomers, acting like Joe Biden is president right now? Like, give Trump a chance. They've been pushing that hard because they already have their army. So now it was time to start pushing grievances. Green did it. Bannon did it. Tucker did it. Charlie Kirk was doing it. And I thought, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you supposedly supported Trump. Why aren't you giving him a chance? And he tried to play it safe, like not be too pushy. But that's what he was doing. And then these people will go so far as they especially with the mass group that Charlie Kirk had. It's a dream for them to have an assassination. It's disgusting in every way, but it's because then they can elevate him into a saint. Look at what Vance is doing. Look at what the Republicans are doing. Look at what the media is doing. It's enough to make me want to vomit in my mouth, okay? They are pushing him up to sainthood for their own sick agenda. That's what they're doing, because that then serves them. I wouldn't be surprised if it was them. I know it wasn't, of course, but because it serves them. Why does it serve them? Because then they can reinforce in this army that they have. That they took your leader. Look at what they did to Charlie Kirk, and he was speaking the Bible, and it reinforces to the radicals. It's so manipulative. It's disgusting. These people are disgusting, and that is the reason why the media will just be nonstop about Charlie Kirk, and the Republicans will be nonstop about Charlie Kirk. Why? Because I'm not counting Trump in that, because I understand now Trump has to. That's an army of people, and he knows what these people are doing. He does. So while all of these deadbeats talk about going after the NGOs, the one thing they won't tell you is that they already created their army across this country. And all of these bastards that have been raising Charlie Kirk up and they don't want the American people to be able to move on. Nope, because they need to keep that army that now Erica will control. They need to keep them engaged and rageful and angry and on fire. And so they will do everything, even if it means elevating Charlie Kirk into Jesus Christ himself. Because of that reason, because of the color revolution. How Tech's in with them, these two videos, obviously 0 views I got. They were fine with that one. These two, we're talking about what I'm just talking about now. So this one will get 0 views too. Tech is also in with that color revolution. So even though you've been told about the color revolution on the left, not saying that, but they've had their own going on. That's why Steve Bannon is getting all loud in his rhetoric that we need a revolution. What the fuck is he talking about? Trump is in. Why are they talking like that? They'll lose. And hopefully all of them could someday be put behind bars, because nobody should be able to do this to young people, not on the right or the left. Leave the young people alone, you sickos. It's like they're predators.